Are you depending on your doctor to educate you about diabetes? Many people, when they're diagnosed with diabetes, they just sit and wait and let their doctor tell them all about diabetes. But what I want to recommend to you today is that you become a diabetes expert. Okay? So you've been diagnosed with diabetes, or you've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes or borderline diabetes. And so the next thing to do once you've been diagnosed is not to sit back and just let things happen. I recommend that you do research and you find out as much as possible about what it takes to reverse the diabetes, okay? Now, your doctor may tell you that you're going to have this diabetes for the rest of your life, but that is not the case, okay? I have, when I was diagnosed years ago with type 2 diabetes, I was determined, to do everything possible to follow my doctor's instructions, to do everything he said, do it the right way, blah, blah, blah. But that didn't work because the diabetes got worse. And so what I want to recommend to you is that you do your research and start looking for ways to reverse the diabetes, okay? Believe that you can be healed. I want you to believe that you can be healed because you can, okay? So it's just misinformation that's out here in the world that tells people that you're going to have diabetes for the rest of your life. That is not true. Now, I have a book that I want to recommend today. Now, when I finally decided that I was done with diabetes, I did a lot of research. I bought books. I did research on Google. I read everything I could get my hands on, okay? Especially information that was related to alternative medicine, alternative modalities that could be used to reverse type 2 diabetes. Now, this book that I'm going to recommend today, it's called, and I'm not even sure if it's called Death to Diabetes. Death to Diabetes. Okay? Now, this book was written by DeWayne McCulley. I don't know if this is showing backwards, but I hope it's not, but it may be. It looks like it is. Okay? So, Death to Diabetes, the 6 stages of type 2 diabetes control and reversal. Now, this book was not written by a doctor, okay? It was written by an engineer, okay? And I'm going to read a little bit about his story from the book, okay? Now, let me go here. This is about the author. The author is DeWayne McCulley, and it's called Death to Diabetes. Now, so about the author, just a little bit, so you can get an understanding of where he was coming from. In March 2002, DeWayne went into a diabetic coma with a blood glucose level of 1,337. More than 1,200 points above normal. And despite a set of complications that included hyperglycemia, dehydration, 2 blood clots, he got pneumonia, and he ended up on 4 insulin shots a day. DeWayne was able to use his engineering and biochemistry background to methodically and completely wean himself off the insulin and other drugs to lower his average glucose level to 92.5 and his hemoglobin A1C to 4.4%. Okay, and he reversed his type 2 diabetes in less than 4 months. okay, in less than 4 months. And this book, you see how thick it is? It is packed full of information about diabetes that he did so much research. And he put a lot of information in this book. And it is designed to help people with type 2 diabetes. Now, let me tell you a little bit about some of the chapters that he has in here, okay? So, he has an introduction. He has a chapter on the different types of diabetes and have a lot of detail about those different types of diabetes. He has a chapter on diabetes control and reversal, the model for it. So he got all this information on how to reverse the type 2 diabetes. Okay? This is a really good book, y'all. Also, he's got a chapter on nutritional supplementation, how important, supplements are. He got a chapter on detoxification. And if you're a diabetic, borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic, you do need to detox, okay? Now, he has a chapter on exercise. That's going to be very important if you want to reverse the type 2 diabetes and you're ready to get off some of the medication, okay? He also has a chapter, well, he's got multiple chapters, but I'm highlighting these chapters because this is the ones that I think are really important. He also has a chapter on diabetic complications. And you know that as a diabetic, people who are diabetic have multiple complications after years, and sometimes, right away people start getting complications. It don't wait till after a few years. So some of the complications of diabetes is brain damage, nerve disease, heart disease, high blood pressure. You have kidney disease. He talks about all these different complications. And y'all know what I'm talking about because people in your family who have had all these complications. Blindness, all these are complications of having diabetes. You need to be aware of them. And you need to know what it takes to not get them. Okay? Because closing your eyes about it or avoiding it or not doing anything about it is not going to make the diabetes go away. Okay? It's only going to make it worse. Because this guy, he was walking around every day with a high blood sugar and didn't even know it. Okay? And if you don't test your blood sugar, you definitely need to start checking your blood sugar. And, I said that slipped out, but yep. Start checking your blood pressure and your blood sugar. So you'll have an idea of what it is. It's not your diabetes is not going to go away because you don't check your blood sugar. It's not going to go away. You're avoiding. You need to be aware of what your numbers are. You need to be aware of what your blood pressure is. You need to be aware of what your blood sugar is, because this man here, working every day, ended up in the hospital in a coma with a blood sugar of what it says 1,337. He had no clue. Start testing your blood sugar. Be aware. Be aware. Don't let it catch you off guard. Okay? So I do recommend this book, and it is so important to be aware. It's so important to recognize what you're dealing with. Okay? It's so important to equip yourself. Okay? So this is one of the books that I recommend for those people who either already been diagnosed with diabetes, or you got family members who were diagnosed with diabetes and you need to know more about it, or you want to know more about it because you want to prevent getting diabetes. Okay? Very important book. I think he is on, I think I got this from Amazon. He is on Amazon. Again, this is a wealth of information that's going to be important to you. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, but he is African American. man, and he wrote this book, and he wrote it to help people. Okay, he wrote it to help people. And just like me, I want to help people who are dealing with type 2 diabetes. So if you want, more details either about how to get this book, or you want some help with reversing your diagnosis that the doctor has given you with diabetes, then I want you to contact me, DM me, look me up in the messages and send me a message and let me know you're ready to do something about it. All right? All right, that's my, I'm going to call it message. That's my message for today. Okay, y'all? So we want you to live long. We want you to live long. All right? That is the goal. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for being here. If you're listening to me on the replay, thank you for that. Let me know in the comments that you're watching the replay or if you're watching me live, okay? We will check with you later. Bye-bye.